Hello and welcome to the United Stand. What a day. What a 24 hours. Mourinho was sacked last night. He's been backed this morning. And then Manchester United dreadfully down 2-0 against Newcastle at half-time. Win the game 3-2. And what as a man... I absolutely pity Manchester United fans in many ways, because what do? Do you be a flip-flop and start backing Jose Mourinho, or do you stick to your guns? And I tell you what, I respect whatever you decide to do because it's all about you. And I look at the United fans at the ground, they're elated, they're holding up still Jose Mourinho in. That's fine, that's your decision. But you know what? I just think the hypocrisy of Jose Mourinho has been highlighted in that final 45 minutes there. For me, he still needs to leave Manchester United. Yes, he's not going to get the sack. They're going to back him. They're going to stick with him. And yes, we're going to get beat by Chelsea after the international break. And everybody who's gone back to backing Mourinho again is going to be made to look foolish in a few weeks' time. It's inevitable, but enjoy it. That's what life's about. If you want to do that, that's fine. But that game today, even though we won it, and I wanted the 3 points, I said we'd get the 3 points, and we got the 3 points because you know what? As I said in the preview, Newcastle aren't that good. But what Newcastle did do in the first 45 minutes is they weren't scared of us. They played us off the park. They should have been 3-0 and out of sight. De Gea made a world-class save. He keeps us in it at 2-0 and we end up winning the game. De Gea wins us that game. Was it Mutu? What a chance to make it 3-0, and De Gea makes a great save. He should have headed it in another direction, but from that distance, it's a worldie from De Gea. He keeps us in the game and we go on and win the game. Why am I still saying Mourinho out? And look, I respect if you're Mourinho in, I do. But you know what? The absolute irony that Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial kept Mourinho in a job tonight is not lost on me. That second goal we scored was absolutely world class. It was between Pogba and Martial from nothing. It was world class ability. It's the best goal we've scored all season. And at 2-2, it gives us that platform in 20 minutes to go and get the winner that Sanchez scores. It was superb by Pogba and Martial. And Mourinho, in his whole time at United, has treated those two players like shit. And they've kept him in the job tonight. The irony of that. He's been out after games, publicly having a pop at them for the last 18 months, and they've just kept him in a job. And I think it's absolutely hilarious. Pogba and Martial have kept Jose Mourinho in a job. And that is massively, massively ironic. But also, watching the game, that second half is abysmal. From a tactical and philosophy point of view, it's a joke. From an entertainment point of view, it was absolutely brilliant because you've got Pogba and Matic at centre-back, you've got Mata as a midfielder with Fellaini, you've got Rashford, Lukaku and Martial. And you can't play that. We can't say we've beaten Newcastle, let's use that formation next week. You can't use that formation. That was, we're 2-0 down at half-time against Newcastle at Old Trafford, and we're going to have to just go for it. And if they score a third, it's over, but we've just got to go for it. And that's what we did. And you know what it was in that second half? There was no tactics. There was no philosophy. All Jose Mourinho was doing was making substitutions, and he could only make one anyway, Rashford for Sanchez. That was just literally about football ability. That was what I predicted in the preview, that even without a manager, those players can win that game. And what happened in the second half is the handbrake was off. The handbrake that's normally there under Jose Mourinho had to come off, and the players were free to express themselves. And that's why we got that brilliant goal from Pogba and Martial. That second half was just the players. That was nothing to do with tactics. It was nothing to do with philosophy, because Mourinho's philosophy is to park the bus and play defensive. What he had to do in the second half is say, I'm chucking absolutely everybody on the pitch, and let's see what you can do as individuals. There was no structure in what we were doing. There was no overlapping. There was no let's exploit Newcastle here. It was literally, that's a football pitch. You're footballers. I'm chucking you all on to go and do what you can do. And they did. Pogba and Martial's goal was brilliant. Mata's free kick was just what Mata can do. And then the winner, everybody's in the box in the last few minutes. Sanchez gets on the end of a header. That's the Stretford end. Brilliant Stretford end, sucking the winner in. And it's a massive 3 points. It's a massive 3 points for Manchester United because we needed it. We needed it. Whether you're Mourinho in or you're Mourinho out, we needed that win tonight and we got it. For me, the man of the match is either Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial or David De Gea. And it may well be forgotten, but at 2-0, like I said, Mutu has a header from 6 yards out. And if he scores that, that's 3-0, it's game over. Having said that, Matic missed an open goal. Rashford missed two absolute sitters on his head. So we did have chances to score as well. But this is Newcastle United. This is Newcastle United who've not won a game all season, who are in the bottom three. And to be honest, with all due respect, Newcastle fans, you are crap. So, look, we've made a ridiculous amount of hard work out of a game that Man City, most teams would find ridiculously easy. What's going to happen tonight is you're going to get people coming out saying, oh, we're back. We're back with Mourinho. We're backing Mourinho. He's the right man. And the reality is, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Mourinho is still an arrogant embarrassment to Manchester United. He is still not the man for Manchester United. He will still park the bus against Chelsea straight after the international break. And I believe we will probably lose that game. There is nothing to rebuild under Mourinho. He will still drop Martial. He will still not play a £50 million like Fred. The reality is, we won that game today because the players won the game in the second half and responded to the fans. That's how we won that game. We nearly lost that game because Jose Mourinho played Scott McTominay, played Ashley Young at right back. That is why we nearly lost that game. The players and the fans rescued that game. Jose Mourinho nearly lost us that game. So that is why tonight I would say, can Jose Mourinho turn these things round? We'll be taking some of your comments. But my personal opinion is, I'm not flip-flopping because we were 20 minutes away from all of you lot saying he needs to be sacked tonight, and he would have been sacked tonight. If we'd lost that game, he would have been sacked. We win the game and he stays. That's ridiculous. You can't be that flippant. You can't say 20 minutes ago I wanted him sacked, but now the players have got us a win, I'm going to back him. How are you backing him? What are you backing him on? Because that second half, we scored 3 goals. There is no formation. We can't pick that team against Chelsea or even against Bournemouth. You can't, or Juventus. You can't pick that second half team. He can't do it. You can't have Matic and Pogba as centre backs. You can't have Mata as a centre midfielder. It doesn't work. That was just 45 minutes of gung-ho, exciting football that got us a win. But you can't do that, and it won't happen. The reality is you've got to look at the first half, where the structure was there, where the formation was there. And I'm ecstatic with the 3 points. And I said we'd get the 3 points. And whether Mourinho goes or not, those 3 points could be massively valuable to the next manager. But there isn't going to be a next manager because, of course, Jose Mourinho will stay at Manchester United. But I'm not going to change my mind. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, you're being an arsehole for doing that. If you're Mourinho in, I respect your opinion. I respect it. I understand it. But for me, call it brave, call it stupid. I'm not going to be flippant on the basis of that result because we were very lucky. He's very lucky. We were very lucky that the players got us that result. And he is a very, very lucky man. And we made a lot of hard work out of a very poor team. In a sentence, Newcastle are in the bottom 3. They can't win. They can hardly score goals. And they very nearly beat us at Old Trafford. That's the bottom line. Yes, I agree. Let's be positive. Let's be happy with the 3 points. But he's a joker. He's an absolute joker what he did today. Why was Scott McTominay starting the game? Why was Ashley Young at right back? They were both massively a big reason why we nearly lost that game of football. And that's on the manager. Kadir Hussain says Rashford was Newcastle's best defender. Look, I have to take a lot of your comments. Of course, I want to do that. Jose Mourinho is talking to the press now, so I really want to feed in what he's saying into this show as well. But also want to take some of your comments. Will Lenny's back. Fuck's sake, Mark. You peaked too early, mate. You peaked too early. I always said we were going to win this game of football, but I tell you what, if you're a Newcastle fan, you must be absolutely gutted. You got so close, but no cigar. Only the club is important, says Jose Mourinho. This is not about me or the players. This is about the club. In the second half, the players gave absolutely everything. He's right. The players did get that result. Nothing more to give. So the explosion of relief that you showed, Jose, you heard it from the fans. Was it a case of confidence when that first Mata free kick went in? It seemed to bring the crowd and the players together. Let me just have a look at some of the other comments as well. Andrew Rossi, that second half has shown what attacking football can do. Nothing to do with Mourinho. Jose Mourinho said that I'm 55 years old and it's the first time in football a manhunting. I'm 55, I'm mature, I can cope with it and I can live with it. I think really some of the boys, in spite of not being the man that is hunted, I think they are not coping well with it. The way they started the game was absolutely panicking. Every ball that was... So he's chucking it onto the players again. Every ball that was in our box, I thought even in some moments we could even score in our own goal. So he's basically talking about the lack of confidence from the players. It's not easy for them. They're not being hunted, but they feel like they are being hunted. He says, for me, it's not easy too. But I think life is made of experiences and some are new and some are old. This is new. It makes me not just a better manager, but also a better person because I understand things in the human nature nowadays and in the industry where I work. I used to love it and I still love it, but it's different. A lot of... I'm reading out what Jose Mourinho is saying. A lot of weakness, too much weakness in something that should be beautiful. As I was saying, I cope with it with some sadness, obviously, but I cope with it and survive. I am mature, I'm a big boy, but clearly some of the boys, Marcus Rashford was sat on the bench, the pitch, Scott McTominay was scared on the pitch, and even older players, they commit mistakes that are not normal. At half time, right? He's chatting away. I want to respond to what Jose Mourinho is saying. Taking credit for the win, obviously. We give everything out there. We go out there with fear, without any pressure. It's all on Jose, you see. It's down to Jose that we got this result because he told the players to go and play without any fear, and of course they gave everything. And I don't want to say we were lucky because we fought so much for that. We'll stop the boys. They deserve it. Even if the result ended with 2-2 and didn't score the last goal at the end, we deserved it. I think United did deserve it. I think we did deserve it. No doubt at all. I think we're more interested in whether Jose Mourinho is going to talk about anything else. There's been a lot of speculation about whether the players are playing for you and you can get them up for a game. Does that response prove it? It is ridiculous talk because the players don't play for the manager. If they do, they are not good professionals. They play for the club. Even though we won, Jose has to go, says Joe Burford. I am going to be taking some of your comments. Jose out, but won't happen now till Chelsea game. Where we'll get humiliated, says Issa Hanif. Jose in, says Christopher Maker. Jose needs to go. He needs to construct his style into a smaller club, says Ian. What I asked the players was exactly to give absolutely everything. Of course, we had some little tactical touches. Of course, we risked. He's just trying to take credit for the win, and I'm not having that. We went in different directions. We were trying to find the best way to play. Look, I've played football. I've watched football. That second half was nothing to do with tactics. It was nothing to do with Mourinho finding a way through. I'm sure he probably said to them, go out there and give everything. But that was about individual brilliance. That was not about any tactics. I think with 2-0 at half-time, with all the dynamic of the men, I think the one thing Mourinho did brilliantly in that second half was take Rashford off and keep Martial on. Because for so many months, it's always Martial who's the fall guy. And I think if he takes Rashford off, if he keeps Rashford on and takes Martial off, they don't score the second goal and they don't get back into it. He's now talking about the speculation about his future. Can we expect you to be doing your job in 2 weeks' time? This is interesting. He's talking about it raining in London tomorrow. You know, if there is some rain in London tomorrow, it's my fault. You know, if there is some difficulty to have the agreement of the Brexit, it's my fault. And I have to be ready for all of this. I think a lot of weakness, wickedness, and a clear man hunting that I think in football is too much. It's my life. It's the life I love. The life I have worked for since I was a kid. I will love it until my last day. It is one more experience in my life. Maybe the manhunt for the banks. I don't know what that means from Jose then. I think he's going to stay. Omcar says Jose Mourinho in. He feels it's becoming personal. Does he have a point? I don't know about that. Jose in. Lots of people saying Jose in. Jamie R. Beatty says, I really used to enjoy your channel regardless of whether I agree with you or not, but now I think your negativity is a bit too much. Jose out and who takes over? Look, Jamel, look, if you watch from the start of the video, I'm not like, it's not an easy thing to say. I'm just not going to be a flip-flop. That's all I'm saying. If you are Mourinho in now, that's up to you. I'm not going to be the person who last week was saying Mourinho out, this morning wanted Mourinho out. I can't be that person. So if you don't like what I'm saying, wait for the fan cams. Can't wait to see what the fan cams have got to say because they were in the ground. But I can't be that person who makes a decision after two and a bit years of Jose Mourinho and saying I can't imagine myself ever being Mourinho out. To say I am Mourinho out and then come back to being Mourinho in after a result like that against Newcastle where a brilliant, exciting 45 minutes, but the formation and tactics were just a mess. It was massively exciting, but it was a mess. I don't think anything's going to change under Jose. So all I'm saying is I'm still sticking to the stance that we need to make a change because I don't think it's going to change. All I'm being is not a flip-flop. That's all I'm being. If you want to be Mourinho in now and you believe it's the way back, I really hope you're right. I really do hope you're right because I've always said that the best thing for Manchester United is if this turns around, if we don't need to get a new manager in, if the players start playing for Mourinho, if we start playing attacking football, that's the best thing that can happen to Manchester United. And if that happens, I'm happy to be proved wrong. But I don't think it will. And I think it is the long goodbye. And I think he will leave Manchester United. And I think he will eventually be sacked. But it's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen now. But I still think he needs to go because we were 2-0 down because of him. I mean, he said we were 2-0 down because the players are scared. They're affected by it. People are scared. They're making mistakes. But we're still 8th in the league. We're still battling to beat Newcastle, who are a relegation side, in the last minute of the game, basically. We're still 2-0 down and played off the park by Newcastle at half-time. We still lost to Derby County, a championship side. We still got played off the park by Wolves. We still got battered by West Ham last week. What today was players in that second half, at last, putting some pride and passion into that shirt and forcing a result with real effort levels. That's what that was today. And I'm proud of that. But it doesn't make me go, I'm suddenly Mourinho in. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. If he goes to Chelsea and we play with Fred in the midfield and Pogba in the midfield and Martial, Sanchez and Lukaku and we play attacking football and we win the game, I'll go, whoa, things are changing. And I will start to change. But I'm not going to do it based on that Newcastle result. I can't do it. It would be, I tell you what, I'd be a hypocrite. I'd be an absolute hypocrite. And I'm not going to do that. So, look, I hope he can turn this around. I really do. Can Jose turn things around? It says it below me. I really hope that he can do. But it would be wrong of me to come on tonight and start saying, yeah, I still want Mourinho to stay at the club. I still think he's the right man for the job. The tactics in the first half were a joke. We got played off the park. And in the second half, we just went gung-ho. And it worked. I want to take some of your comments. Thomas K says, for everyone saying Zidane got carried away by Madrid players, how are they doing without him? Jose out, Glazers out, Woodward out, says Illa. I don't understand. It's obvious. Jose out, says Nitro Green. Kyle says, I agree with you, Mark. Brilliant win, says Pankaj. It is a brilliant game. I'm looking forward to watching it on Match of the Day because in absolute isolation, it's a brilliant game. It's got absolutely everything. But what I would say to you is, thank you Mutu, and thank you David De Gea, because we're 2-0 down and he misses a sitter and De Gea makes a world-class save. If we go 3-0 down, we don't win that game. We might probably don't even draw it, but we don't win it. Sean Dyche will be confirmed within the next couple of weeks, says Sam Hammond. Tom Free, you're admitting that when they play fair full is because of him. First goal, Martial won the free kick. Second goal, Martial goal scoring skills. Yet he gets destroyed by Jose. The players won us that game in the second half. You can tell in the second half, it just really is about players having freedom. We had the freedom in the second half that they're never normally given. Now, if he starts giving us the freedom, then obviously we've got a different Mourinho and we need to reassess. But I don't see that. I mean, that second goal is brilliant. That Pogba and Martial goal is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely superb. Why so serious? Says everybody's talking about the second half, but what about the first half? Yeah. Jose out, Zidane, says Nick Evans. Pogba was class today, says Abba. As I said before, I think it's absolutely hilarious that Pogba and Martial and Sanchez to a certain point have won us that game. But it's really Pogba and Martial who won us that game. They got us right back into it, and they're the two players that Mourinho's treated the worst. Lawrence Starr says Mourinho should allow us to play attacking football. He should unleash them and not cage the players. You know what, Lawrence? If it was that simplistic, I think Jose would do it. But he's not an attacking coach. His whole career has never been about that. So I don't think he can. I think he had to in the second half. He had to let the players off the leash because we've got to win that game, and we did. But he can't do that 38 games a season. It's not what Jose Mourinho is about. He won't go to Chelsea and say gung-ho. He won't. He'll play a far more defensive game. Black God says deluded Mourinho fanboys will come back to reality when we play Chelsea after the international break. Last time they had freedom was second half against City last season. Mirror image, says Breach69. What a comment. Last year a miracle was a comeback against City. This year it's Newcastle, says Callum McHugh. Robert Dos Ramos, Jose out, can't get sucked into this result. We clawed our way back playing the second worst team in the league. Well done United players, you showed the United spirit. Exactly. Why are the players not playing? Why the same thrive and desire? Where is their motivation, says Radu Rossa. Well, I think in the first half, United players are playing within a system that they are confined to. In the second half, they've got the freedom to do what they've got to do, isn't it? And that's what happened there. So yeah, brilliant, absolutely superb. So really, really happy with that result. But for me, still Jose Mourinho out. It's just not. It still needs to change. It's a hard thing to say that. It's a hard thing to say that, and I think it's a brave thing to say that. And I know, look. This channel is your channel. We'll always have your calls on. We'll always take your opinions. It would be very... Please do drop a like on the video. Even if you disagree with me, please do drop a like on the video for this reason. The United Stand is your channel. It's about your opinion. But I've got to express my opinion. Of course I have. I always have done. And I'll always listen to yours, but I've got to express my opinion. Otherwise, I'm just a presenter and we're static and we're boring. When we won that game, I thought, do I title this video, what a brilliant win, Mourinho's back, and probably get 3,000 likes on the video? Or do I stick to my guns, not be a flip-flop and say, look, that was a shit performance by United, making hard work out of Newcastle. The fans and the players got us a very, very exciting second half win, but the tactics set by Mourinho at the start were crap, and he still needs to go. Do I do the honest, brave thing, or do I do the fake for like thing? And we've never been about being fake and for like. So I've stuck to my guns. I said what I said, and I hope to God that Mourinho can turn this around, because I still think it's the best thing that can happen. But I don't believe he will, and I still think that United will be better off without Jose Mourinho. And I, for one, would be happy with that. But I do agree, as Gary Neville said last night, and as other people have said, that the board are a massive problem for United. But for me, in that second half, I saw a gung-ho, exciting Manchester United. I didn't see a system. I didn't see a philosophy. I didn't see a formation. I just saw a set of players play with pride and get us a result. But going forward, I still don't know what our best formation is. I still don't know what our tactics are. And I know for a fact that when we play our next game, We will go back to playing Fellaini and Matic and slow football. We will go back to playing very defensive football, and we'll try to be pragmatic. We're never going to play consistently like we did in that second half because there wasn't a system there. That was about Old Trafford. That was about the Stretford end, sucking the ball into the back of the net. And that's what that was all about. So look, you can disagree with me. I hope you do. I hope you have your own opinion. I hope you are Mourinho in. I hope you are Mourinho out. I hope you are the undecided. I hope you've got an opinion. I really do. And I apologise if you disagree with my opinion, only from a point of view. I apologise on behalf of the channel because we want everybody's opinion. I personally don't apologise. I've explained why my stance is this. Because I would be a massive, massive hypocrite to sit here tonight and say, Mourinho in, keep him, give him another chance. We were 2-0 down against the second bottom team in the league that's not won all season. They played us off the bloody park. We scraped a win in the last minute by going gung-ho and the players producing some good football. But there was no formation. There was no philosophy. And we scraped a result against Newcastle, who are crap. I'm sorry, Newcastle, but you are. We've not learnt anything, but we got 3 massive points that we needed to get. Let's all go to Chelsea and Jose will be in charge. He ain't going to be sacked tonight. He ain't going to be sacked tomorrow. He'll be here for the Chelsea game. Let's see what happens. But I think next month, with teams like Chelsea, Juventus, Man City in November, I don't think it's going to get much better. But, I'd love to be proved wrong. I need to read some of the super chats. Ashwin says, you were right in the summer. We need Milinkovic, Savic in our midfield. Jose out. The football is horrible to watch. We're not gaining any new fans this way. Mata is an unsung hero. I would like him in our team every day, says Shisha. You know what? I'll be honest with you, Shisha. I think Mata's been crap this season. I absolutely love Juan Mata. And that free kick, I was so desperate that he took that free kick because he's the perfect person to take that free kick. And it was a brilliant free kick. But I personally think that Juan Mata this season has been very, very disappointing. By his high standards, I don't think Mata's played particularly well. But that result was, that goal gets us smack back in the game. Of course it does. And it makes such a difference to us. It really, really does. But there's bigger pictures to talk about, which we'll obviously talk about probably tomorrow morning or on the Sunday night show, in relation to the bigger picture of Manchester United as to why there was this talk of him getting the sack yesterday. Obviously, the club have backed him now and we've won the game, so that's not going to happen. Thanks for the contribution, Oscar Svensson and Ashwin. This proves we have very good players, says Jose Tutu. Well, that's why I always felt we would beat Manchester United. Mr. Wadkey, not sure about Mourinho, but I want Martial here forever. He needs to start every game. Paul Scholes was right. You were right. I was right. Anthony Martial needs to play week in, week out. One win doesn't hide the fact he slagged United players off in front of the media in recent weeks and previously. Nothing will change, says Scott Watts. Stop the witch hunt, Mark. This isn't FIFA, says Brandon Coombs. Peter Hinn says, if this was Sir Alex's result, we'd be so excited about the comeback, but today was all about the team's performance, not Jose. Big support from Korea. Shivam says, I want Jose out, but appreciate him taking Rashford off for Sanchez rather than Martial tonight. Yeah, I thought that was very, very good. I want a manager that lets us do that all the time, says Hugh Jones. Karan says, for those who will still support Mourinho, it was the players' game and not the manager's. First half was crap. The moment McTominay was off, the game was finer. Kadir Hussein, Rashford was Newcastle's best defender. And Mata is class, says Draco. Look, the reality is, whether you're Mourinho in or out, we needed 3 points today. That 3 points, whoever's the manager in March or April, could be massive if we're trying to get top 4. You can't wish to lose games to get rid of managers because the points can become absolutely huge. So the points is absolutely huge to get that. Thanks everybody who's dropped a like on the video. I simply say that because look, as I said, I could easily have come on here and been a hypocrite and said, we've got to give Mourinho another chance. We've got to give him another chance. This is the board's fault. And I wasn't saying that this morning, and I wasn't saying it all week. What I've said is I think Mourinho needs to leave Manchester United. I'm sympathetic to him. I'm empathetic to him. I like him as a person, but he's not right for Manchester United. And that's my stance at the moment. I'm not saying it won't change. If we have a brilliant October and we win loads of games, maybe it can change. A month ago, and the last 2 years, I've always backed Mourinho. I've frustrated the life out of a lot of you backing Mourinho. But for the last week or so, my mind's changed. And I'm not going to change that opinion because we scabbed a win against Newcastle with a brilliant player performance in the second half. His tactics for this game were awful. McTominay never should have started the game. Ashley Young shouldn't have started the game. And the players got us a great result tonight, and I'll look forward to match of the day. But I'm not going to go Mourinho in or change my opinion just because of that. We got a great, exciting second half, and the players finally showed us some passion. But what I think those players did show us is that if you let them attack, we've got some good players. I just don't believe we've got a manager that will ever consistently let that happen. And for that reason, I still believe he's got to go. That's just my opinion, though. You might think something else. I respect your opinion, respect mine. Thanks everyone who's dropped a like on the video. You're absolutely fantastic. And fan cams are going to be really interesting. I can't wait to see the fan cams. We've got Sophie, we've got Paul, we've got Flex, we've got Rants, and everybody else. And I think it's going to be really interesting because I think we will get a lot of people saying back Mourinho. And that's fine and that's good because it's good to have different opinions. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.